Hi and welcome down to DevonKoi pond on what I'll call a midweek video. Don't do them very often, but I thought I'd do one for the next few weeks. I'll slip in a video midweek as well, but today we're down here and I'm gonna go a little bit into building the ponds, the mistakes you can make, the mistakes I made and the successes I made on the build on the pond, and I'll show you a few of those because we had some failures and we had some good successes. Now the majority of ponds fall into two categories. You've either got bottom drain gravity fed system or you've got a pump fed system. Now I'm sort of in between. I've got a half gravity, half pump fed system. Now one of the main failures I made on the system was a problem with the bottom drain, which I didn't think of at the time, but it's a very good idea. So we'll go over and have a look at that in a second. Also, one of the successes I made while I'm in the filter pit over there, I'll show you that and just give you a bit of insight and a bit of thought into what can happen when you're building a pond and you need to plan a few things out. Think about it as much as you possibly can so you don't make these kind of mistakes, or make things easier for yourself when you do it. That's the main thing, to think the job out properly. But let's have a look at one of the problems I made. I'll switch over onto the other hand camera so I can shove it on the stick into the filter pit. But let's have a look at that. Okay, so let's go and have a look in the filter pit. So you can see the sun's in and out, water's looking good, fish are looking really good. This is Popeye here, still up a bit, but she's feeding really well, so I'm not overly concerned. Piggy twins. Right, into the filter pit. So this was one of the major mistakes I made. On my 4-inch bottom drain here, here's the pipe coming up, comes then around in a bend through the valve. Now I know a lot of people don't like the slide valves, and at the time money was tight, the entire pond was budgeted, so this was in the budget and one of the big ball valve ones wouldn't. But this pipe coming up, I should have come straight up to above pond level and put a T on there. That was a big mistake doing that. If I'd put a T on it, I could push a bung down the pipe and block it off should ever I need to service that valve and have a play with it, which now I can't do. There's probably a couple of ways I could get around it, either going for a swim in the pond and sticking a bag, pump up bag down the end of the bottom drain. That's always a possibility. Not that I like going in for a swim, but it's not bad at the moment. Or go in through the vortex here, go through that valve, stick the bag, blow the bag up in the elbow back in the corner to get at that valve. So far I haven't had to do it, but if I get to a point where it's got to be done, I think it's going to be in the pond to the bottom drain, shove a bag in the hole there, pump it up, block it off, saw that elbow off, put a T on, redo this here completely so that I've got a T there and I can shove a bag down there, because I'm quite happy with these slide valves. This one doesn't weep anything past it. It's got a fair weight of water behind it, so that's probably why, but at some point it will start to leak. So that was a big failure. That was a major mistake. I should have brought that pipe on and up. Andrew Daly on the Koi Diaries, his comes straight up and you can shove a set of rods down it and all sorts. I didn't go for the swept bends, as in the pond's so small it wasn't that important. I knew I wouldn't be pulling thousands and thousands of gallons of water through it an hour, so I wasn't too fussed on the swept bends, but even they would have helped. But I should have put that T in. That was the failure there. Now one of the successes has been this pump down here. this pump here, the pipe coming down to the pump is off of all the filters at the top, so all my wastewater can run down from those filters down through into the barrel. So once in the barrel, I can, if the valves are shut on the filters up here, the highest point is my drain to waste, so I can pump then from that barrel to get rid of all my wastewater. Now all this in here, this half pumped, half gravity system, this enabled me to have quite a small filter pit below ground level. Now seen a few ponds on YouTube of half pumped, half gravity, rightly to name one. Terry there, his is half gravity, half pumped, works very well. He uses a sieve as a pre-filter. I've got my vortex here with the answer in it, but I'm calling that a success. That works very well. I didn't need a huge filter pit and get, well, I would have had to have all my filters down here, and the space where I have got them would have been kind of vacant. So that was a success. But the big failure was that elbow. The pump down there is also a kind of success because I used the same pumps all over the pond. So that waste pump down there is really my spare pump. If anything goes wrong on the bottom drain pump, the skimmer pump, I can pop that one out and actually swap it over. The cable's long enough, swap it over for one of my other pumps. So I've got a spare pump, which is very handy as well. But doing this again, I would bring that straight up on a T with the pipe rising to above level. I'd also put a ball valve on there rather than the slide valve. But like I said, I haven't had any troubles with the slide valve yet. But it's gonna come a day when I'm gonna have to do something with that, and I'm not looking forward to it. So that was one of the successes and one of the failures on the pond build. Basically with this, you want to be able to give your pond good thinking time on the design when you build it before you even start building. If you're new to ponding, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot of ponds you can go out and look at. On YouTube and all the ponding channels. Have a look at them. See the mistakes other people have made, what you can do with yours, and sit down, have a good think about it, plan it out well. I was over 12 months planning this pond, probably nearly 2 years, and still made mistakes. So let's get you back over onto the tripod camera and we'll go on from there a bit. Give these little buggers a bit of food a minute. They're not going to give me any peace until they get some more. So let's get up onto the tripod a minute. Water's looking lovely, as you can see. Strange to be doing a midweek video down here. I don't do them very often. Don't forget, this coming Friday I've got the giveaway competition video. That'll be out at 3:30 on Friday. You'll have 5 days on that, so subscribe in down there now and you won't miss the one on Friday. But let's get onto the tripod. Okay, so that was one of the successes, one of the failures I made down there, or 2 successes, 1 failure. But the half pumped, half gravity system works for me. Consider it in your design. It's quite a handy way to do it because you don't need the filter pit all down at pond level. So you can just have your first mechanical filter down at that level. Doesn't have to be anything special. You could run a sieve, ordinary sieve, Nexus Evolution sieve down there at that level, and then to your drum filter, which will also cause your drum filter a lot less work, which would be a damn good idea. Rightly's system with his homemade sieve, that works very well. Then to his drum, fantastic idea that. Very nice, and full gravity fall back to the pond. So you could do the same on that, half gravity, half pump. It does work, okay? And you don't have to dig all your filters into a huge pit and find a lot of space for a huge thing like a Nexus and things like that. You could pump feed to them from the sieve, which would be the only thing you'd need down at pond level. But that's kind of it for this midweek video. Just a quick where I cocked up and where I got it right. Is everybody does things like this. You do it and then afterwards and you think, oh my god, why did I do it that way? Or you see something better afterwards. But that's the two mistakes I made, and you will make them doing your own pond. Hopefully I can put the one with the bottom drain right when I have to. Should have put that T on and taken it up. Did think about it at the time and then thought, nah. Same with the valve, should have gone for the more expensive ball valve, but money was so tight at the time. I'd spent an absolute fortune on the pond and just didn't have the spare cash to do it, and I needed it up and running, so got the slide one. But Friday, right, competition video, that's out 3:30. If you haven't subscribed in yet, subscribe now, you won't miss it when it comes out on Friday then. So get that out 3:30, okay? But for the midweek video here now, where I got it right and where I didn't get it right, it's bye for now, and we'll bit of happy ponding to you, and we'll catch you all on Friday. Cheers.